Hey, welcome back, guys. Snowfall's double premiere finds Franklin at the pinnacle of success, yet forced into some very tough decisions in the interest of family and expansion. I'm here to break it all down in typical Top 10 WTF fashion. Before we begin, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and bell notification to immediately receive these videos. Also, big thank you to all of my channel donors. If you'd like to be the next one, drop $1 on that Cash App for us. And lastly, a spoiler alert is now in effect for all things Snowfall. Here we go. WTF moment number 10, Without Bias. The episode begins on the fateful morning of June 19, 1986, where budding NBA hopeful Len Bias spends the morning with teammates and friends celebrating his recent draft selection by the Boston Celtics just 48 hours prior, along with his Reebok endorsement to be. As the tragic tale goes, Bias takes some heavy snorts of the drug that ruled the 80s and goes through several moments of dizziness before succumbing to the seizure that would literally shake up the world. He fights for his life unsuccessfully prior to the opening credits, and it's just as sad to witness reenacted as it was conveyed in the documentary. For those who haven't seen it, the life and death of Bias was notably covered in the 2009 ESPN 30 for 30 film Without Bias, and his untimely demise had major ramifications on the underworld as a result. But more on that later. WTF moment number 9, Shoe Program, nigga. We're reintroduced to Leon confronting an underling charged with stealing a pair of Jordan 1s. He commands that the foot soldier, no pun intended, remove the shoes and subsequently distribute street justice via a crowbar to the ankles, leaving him in a broken, bloody mess as a result. But hey, at least he got to keep arguably Jordan's most iconic kicks. So that's something, right? WTF moment number 8, who you fucking with? Rob and a few of his miscellaneous friends are depicted doing drugs and partying at his residence. Following a few noted 80s film references, things intensify when a newcomer campaigns for one of the ladies, something that upsets Rob's simpish friend, Thad. Thad starts heckling the innocent partygoer, and upon being called out on the overt cap, ups the banger on him. The partygoer pleads for peace, but is ultimately shot by Thad, despite Rob's attempt to de-escalate the situation. This foul-up all but sealed Rob's fate by episode's end. WTF moment number 7, Girl 6. In our first view of Wanda this season, she's shown working as a phone sex operator post getting cleaned up from crack cocaine. The position is due to the limited options available to her since overcoming the mighty rock, and the stigma attached to a former junkie. She hilariously attempts to keep her caller on the line and later laments their tendency to release prematurely, adding pressure from her overbearing boss, who would undoubtedly be Me Too'd in the modern era. But more on that in just a second. WTF moment number 6, that's the way the cookie crumbles. Franklin, Peaches, and Rob head out to Thad's hideout under the pretense of friendship. They pose as allies to his futile cause, luring him to believe that they'll aid and abet him in the aftermath of his foolish crime of passion. He's rightfully jumpy and suspicious, yet goes along with the crew. Then, his numbered days reach their peak once staring down the barrel of Rob's gun, who Franklin urges to not only shoot, but kill in cold blood. The idiotic Thad begs for his life, but to no avail as Rob finishes the job. WTF moment number 5, cut the check. Wanda carries on in her new occupation and receives her check. Upon opening the wages, she discovers that it's been shortened without her knowledge. Wanda then confronts her scumbag boss, who she finds with the phone sex hopeful on his lap, likely campaigning for more money in exchange for cheek clappage. The Me Too subject-to-be blames her meager earnings on the FCC and cutbacks, but opts to give her a sweeter deal if she's willing to comply. Under the guise of willingness, Wanda then knocks away her boss's cocaine to the floor and furiously exits stage left. WTF moment number 4, Baby Saint? Veronique approaches Franklin following his murderous evening and reveals to all unaware that the two are expecting a child together, her 5-year plan notwithstanding. Neek conveys her concerns to Franklin and declares that his underworld life won't be able to coincide with his forthcoming family one. Then, she makes him promise that until he is able to abdicate his kingpin position, that family will come first. a contract that Franklin would subsequently sign in blood. WTF moment number 3. Rockabye Grady. Grady re-enters his home, only to find Teddy waiting for a minute. The formerly outcast CIA agent successfully campaigned for his old position and convinced his overseers that Grady wasn't the right man to carry out this mission. Thus, this visit was accompanied by the spirit of exile and its intentions too. Grady met Teddy's demands with the expected vitriol and disrespect, hurling several threats at the newly redeemed agent upon his exit. Grady later takes a drink that turns out to be poisoned by Teddy, the latter affirming that his pending demise wasn't the result of their differences, but rather Grady's ineptitude at his job and the lines crossed therein. WTF moment number 2. I just sell dope in it. Teddy makes an impromptu visit to Franklin's home, the latter unaware of his presence since the events of season 4. The emboldened agent makes niceties with his old associate before getting to the nitty-gritty. He rebukes the actions of Grady as they pertain to Franklin and reveals his true intentions for the stopover. Franklin will now be under new management, which ironically looks a lot like his old one. Teddy then emphasizes the importance of carefulness going forward and ensures that he won't be cutting the drug prices despite Franklin's former agreement with Grady. Finally, he leaves his asset with one last assurance. Reed is no more, and he'll be referred to under his proper name henceforth. And WTF moment number 1, whatever it takes. While digging Thad's grave, Rob makes mention of a comet that Franklin points him in the direction of. Then, unceremoniously, Franklin shoots his old friend and former liaison to the drug game in the first place in the back of the head, of mice and men style. The kill was all but certain once Rob fell victim to the junkie lifestyle, which is accompanied by reckless behavior that could jeopardize his family and future, something that was irreconcilable to Franklin. Make no mistake about it, Rob was Saint's first hard decision of this new season, but he most certainly won't be his last as we continue on. Some lingering thoughts before we end today's video. It was heartbreaking that Saint had to kill one of his day ones from school in Rob, but there really was no other way. Saint has been in the game for a while now, and has seen way too much as a result, enough to know that a junkie can never be trusted. Rob's drug use wasn't the only problem, however. It led to him being reckless with his words as well. Remember, Franklin asked Rob what knowledge Thad had accumulated that could possibly be used against them. Rob lied, stressing that Thad didn't know anything and was essentially a non-factor. But that lie came back to bite him once they finally confronted Thad, and he started requesting help from Saint's, quote, CIA guy. That lie, along with Franklin's zero-tolerance policy on any loose ends, marked his once-beloved comrade and segue into the game for death. R.I.P. to him all the same. Franklin's brief and faint conversation with his mother was a microcosm of their current distant relationship. The sins of last season have separated the mother and son tandem, and Saint will be forced for the first time to operate sans his mother's guidance, nuance, and most importantly, love. She was the final link in his chain of humanity, and her estranged status to him may result in a further spiral into the chilly abyss of ruthlessness and apathy. We shall see. While we're on Franklin, he's 0 for 2 in the realm of women. Melody represented his sins coming back to haunt him, and Tanase reflected his naivete in the midst of betrayal. Let's hope Veronique is a step in the right direction for someone who's known nothing but deception. I'm personally rooting for them, but ain't no telling really. Notice how in episode 2, Teddy and the CIA repeatedly referred to Franklin as, quote, the asset. This objectification denotes their lack of value for his humanity, but rather their value for how his activities can bring them closer to their international goals. This doesn't bode well for Franklin in the long run. And lastly, Len Bias's death was a major tragedy, no doubt, that sent shockwaves throughout America due to the fame of its victim. Among those shockwaves came a bill named after the fallen college star, where traffickers of cocaine were granted mandatory minimum sentences of 20 years to life if convicted in a web of drug distribution that led to serious bodily harm or death. This unfortunate tragedy wasn't played out for no reason to begin Snowfall's 5th season, and Franklin's organization just may pay the iron price once the bill comes due. Fingers crossed, y'all. And that'll do it for this one. What were your thoughts on Snowfall's double premiere? Be sure to drop me your opinions in the comments below. As always, I thank you for watching today's video. If you liked today's video, go ahead and drop $1 on that Cash App for us, hit the like button, share it with your friends who are fans of Snowfall, and subscribe for more content such as this. This is Rudy P. Magic of Rudy P. Magic Beats, and have a blessed one until the next one. Peace, y'all.